Hey there, friends and neighbors. It's your boy Matt from MDW Guitar Works again, and I'm coming at you from the mobile office right now, just because, well, that's where I happen to be right now, out and about doing things. It's kind of a combination video because I don't have any big projects going on. Kind of in between larger stuff because it's a matter of having the time and money to do certain things that I gotta stick to small things. What I had to do recently was replace the nut on the bouzouki. You're probably tired of seeing that damn bouzouki, but it needed a nut replacement. And because one of the grooves ended up blowing out entirely, which I actually did that a while back, and then I had it sort of jury-rigged back together with a little brad acting as a string guide, and that was kind of low budget to extreme. It really needed to have the whole nut replaced, and which wasn't a cost prohibitive type of thing. It's really just a matter of getting around to it, and because I got a bag of nut blanks for like next to nothing. I mean, you get like 6 or 8 of them, and they're nice, solid, all bone, no plastic or anything, and it's like $7, and so no reason not to replace a nut if you have the capacity at all to fabricate one, because they don't come shaped like you need them to. They come as, well, blanks, so you have to be able to measure out and draw out, and it helps if you've got an existing nut that you know works, because you can base your measurements off of that. And you can also, if the string spacing works, you want to go by what is on your old nut, which is what I did, and it wasn't that involved of a process. I think start to finish, I spent about maybe 20 minutes this morning with a combination of the hacksaw and the belt sander to basically shape it into place, and then I use the fret saw to cut the grooves. And fret saw, if you don't have one, is an amazing thing. It's such a simple thing too. It's like just a little U-shaped doohickey that has 2 tension screws on each end, and has a little container of saw blades, which are just basically pieces of wire that have the so they're basically files, but they're files that are as thin as guitar strings. So the set that I've got is just your basic thing. I think that whole thing was under $10, and I got it some time ago, but I've used it and I've got more than my money's worth out of it, just in the shaping and grooving nuts and bridges that I've done with it. It's definitely worthwhile. So if you don't have one of those and you do any guitar work, definitely get one. Beats the hell out of using an old hacksaw blade. Plus a hacksaw blade is way too thick for thinner strings. It's really cool. Highly recommend. I've also been playing a lot of music, practicing a lot of music. That's playing on the bouzouki, also playing more on my mandolin. It's not hanging up on the wall where I walk past it all the time. I got it back down, so it's good to play mandolin again. I've been playing larger mandolin family instruments, and it's nice to plink on the just regular old mandolin for once. And and I've got a pretty nice mandolin. I've had it for years. I ought to do a whole video about that repair job. I don't have the pictures of the process anymore because it was a lot of years ago, but I've got this flat iron mandolin. It's by the Gibson company, and I was playing it at an outdoor gig at one point years back, and I had some kind of bodge job of a strap, and I was hanging on my back and came off the strap, landed face down, smack face down. You couldn't have planned this any worse, and the tension of those strings is exerting a lot of poundage on that skinny little neck, and that headstock just snapped right the hell forward. And just, it was an ugly break too, man. It was terrible. So I ended up thinking, okay, well, that was one of my first really involved, you might even say risky repairs, but it's one that I wouldn't have decided of my own accord to do this on such a nice instrument, but the alternative was to throw it in the dumpster, because it was just if it worked, it'd be great, and if it didn't, oh well. So it was basically what I describe as a compound fracture. It was multiple cracks, and I ended up having to put it back in place and fill in some of the gaps because it didn't even go back together neatly. So I thickened up some epoxy and then set it in place with every clamp I had in the house, and even then went back over it, made little metal plates and reinforcer rods, so it's essentially like Frankenstein surgery. And I'll show you some pictures of it. It's something to behold. I don't take great pride in the workmanship, I'll say right up front, but it's 100% back to normal. It looks a little weird, but that's kind of how I roll. So anyway, also what I've been doing, I've been playing a lot of harmonica, kind of dusting that off and getting back into the swing of that. And it's funny, if you play harmonica and you get to a certain point and you're very comfortable getting bends, bending notes, you know, the draw notes that you can, and then maybe move on to blowed bends on the high reeds. That's a set of skills that it's really hard to describe it to anybody, which is why the internet is full of videos of dudes trying to tell you how to do it, and everybody's got a different approach. But the thing about that is, if you go a good long while without playing, your mouth, your throat, your tongue forgets how to do things. And I've noticed that, because I probably went a year or so without picking up the harmonica with any seriousness, and I felt it. I had to relearn. It was like recovering from a leg injury and having to not necessarily learn how to walk, but learn how to walk comfortably. And it was weird. So if you play harmonica and you want to keep playing harmonica, you got to keep at it. And the same goes with stringed instruments, but I've never gone stretches of time without playing stringed instruments, so that's not something that I deal with very much. I'm always playing on strings, but harmonica is one that I'd kind of laid on the wayside and lost a little bit of my touch. And it was interesting because it put me in this sort of learning mode where it wasn't like starting from scratch, but it was close to. And so in a sense, I was kind of reteaching myself everything that I knew before, and that was actually kind of a cool experience. But anyway, I've told you about going by the cigar store. That's a good place to get free or super cheap cigar boxes, and they're good for 1,000,001 things. If you want to be one of those crazy old men with a garage full of cigar boxes and rubber bands and guitar picks, it's pretty cool. Got this one here. This is my harmonica box, and I'll show you pictures of that where I can get it more in the frame, but it's a handy dandy carrying case because it's perfectly sized to fit all of my current harp collection. And honestly, I can't see getting any others anytime soon unless I get some weird specialty. Right now, what I've been experimenting with and learning more about have been low harps, and which is harps below the key of G, and also melodic minors. Those have been pretty cool. And I'll pick up this melodic minor here. This is an E minor, and whoa. Anyway, they're unique in that, well, the reeds are set in, rather than a major key, a minor key, hence the name. And if you're, strictly a blues player, they still are very useful, because, some blues songs are in a minor key. And I say strictly like it's a relative thing, because it kind of is. Keys of music, without getting too wonky, a key that a song is in can be mostly in a minor key, or it can be some flavor of a minor key, and it's neither here nor there, but it goes into selecting what harp you play it with, because like as a harmonica player, your life is dominated by doing the math in your head to figure out what key harmonica to play. Because just because the song is in the key of C, the guitar player tells you we're in the key of C, that doesn't necessarily tell you everything you need to know. If it's in C, and you hang on real quick. All right, sorry about the interruption there. What I was talking about is, if you pick up a C harmonica, it's got certain notes that are available to you in the key of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And okay, so key of C, you would think you could just pick up a C harmonica and play along. Well, if the guy is doing blues in C, that's not the same thing. It's in C, but it's more than likely in a mode of C, like Mixolydian probably, in which case you would want to pick up a different harp and play in what they call second position. And that'll put you in the right key if you're playing against C. But what I've been doing, I was talking about low harps, is that one I just picked up is a G harp. I don't know if you could hear that ambulance going by, but they're collecting some money from somebody. But first low harp that I got was a low D, because like I've mentioned, I was playing a lot of Irish and Celtic music, which happens to be in D in a lot of cases. And regular D harp is actually a pretty high-pitched harp, and so you couldn't get very many earthy big chords out of it. You could get the melody, and those high-pitched ones at the high end of the scale are pretty useful for cutting through the mix. But when you want to play chordal stuff, and a low D is actually where you want to go. That's pretty low. And that's just got its own set of, and this isn't going to be an instructional video, but low harps have their own pros and cons. One of the first cons is that, like I said, it may not cut through as much in a mix, but then again, that's what microphones are for. But sonically, and I know from mixing sound, those mid-range things tend to get muddy with other mid-ranged instruments going on around them. So you're fighting with that, but that's a battle worth fighting. And the other thing is that towards the low end, they might require a little more air than you're used to, just to get those big reeds to move. But the sound is very, very cool. And it's like, if you're a harp player with any amount of experience, I highly, highly, highly recommend getting at least some of the, one of the lower keys. And I would probably suggest look at the key that you most likely play a lot with and get the low version of that. And within reason, I heard somebody playing like a low A harp the other day on a video, and that's almost kind of freakishly low sounding. It started sounding like like a different instrument, because like you pick up an A harp like this, An A harp is already considered on the low end of regular harps. And same with G, which is why if you're looking at, say, like the Lee Oscar brand that sorry, somebody's driving by in one of those gender affirming vehicles. He's gone now. But the lower harps that you can get, low tuning harps that you can get from Lee Oscar, start at C, which is pretty low. In fact, I mean, this is a C, a low C right here. And that's pretty low. In general, I might not go a lot lower than that, if ever at all. I do have one remaining slot in my carrying case if I wanted to get something else, whether maybe I got an additional minor key or another low. I don't have, I'll tell you what I don't have in my collection right now is I don't have a key of F in low or high, and I don't have a B flat, and I don't have any of the in-between keys like C sharp, D flat. I don't have those, and I'm not going to get any of them. I don't have any instances. That's why I don't have an F or a B flat. I have never come across an instance where I needed a B flat or an F. It's within the realm of possibility. I mean, it could happen, and but it's, I mean, I went through the entire set list from my band, and because I was hunting for songs that could benefit from having harmonica in them, and we got 5.5, 6 hours worth of material, and we don't play any songs in F or a mode of F. Same with B flat, but every single other key that I already have, we play something in, and including one song. There's only one song, but one song in the key of E, and the only key of E that I've got is this little one here, and well, they're all the same size, so it's a little one. By little, I mean this little high squeaky one. An E harp is pretty high, so I might want to get the low tune version of this, and which is a possibility. Like I said, it's just one song in my whole lineup that could possibly use it, and not to say we can't put another song that's in E on our set list, or change the song to the key of E if we wanted to. It's not a real frequent, it's one of those guitar friendly keys, but not the guitar friendliest of the guitar friendly keys, if that makes any sense. Any guitar player, you can chime in, you probably know what I mean. So you can tell by looking at my harp collection that I'm a guitar player, because I have all of the keys that are regularly played, not counting it with a capo, but so I've got G, I got A, C, D, and E, and low versions of the D and the C, and E minor and A minor. So yeah, definitely my harmonica set is geared towards somebody who's a guitar player. So anyway, but yeah, I was going to show you some pictures of harmonica box, and also my nut replacement surgery that I did this morning, and so you kick back and enjoy that, and I'll be right back. Well, okay, we're back at the ranch. I'm a little crowded here. I got all the PA gear for tomorrow's show crowded into my shop. I gotta load that up tomorrow. I don't usually take the PA, but this time I have to, for reasons. But it'll be a fun show. We're down in Venice tomorrow, down at TJ Carney's. It's gonna be a fun time. So anyway, let me see, what was I talking about? Yeah, I had my harmonica case with the handle. I think I showed you before. I am just recently though put a little elastic strip down both sides that just kind of holds the harps in place. It's right there. So and I was mentioning my low harps like before. Very cool thing. I like it. So, and other thing I did today was replace the nut on here, a little nut transplant. That's seems to be holding up fine. The action's still good. A little out of tune there, but I wanted to make sure that once it got back in tune, it stayed in tune and wasn't moving anywhere. Pretty satisfied with this. It holds the strings in place. Don't have to have my little brad on there sticking out the headstock like something made in your front yard. So anyway, put this one and there's my little mandolin here. And I think if I haven't already, I'll flash up some pictures of this. It's a pretty scary looking repair, but it's held up probably a good 10 or 12 years since I fixed it. Had this for a long time. That was terrible. Good thing I won't be playing mandolin tomorrow. But anyway, that's what I've been working on, and I'm sure if I forget something, editing Matt will put it in later, but I think I covered it all. So, all right, well, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click like, and all that happy YouTube stuff, and I'll be talking at you soon. Bye now.